What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Patreon mini scheme. So it's been a little minute since I've done a mini scheme, so I wanted to hit you guys with a really good one today, and it is going to be out of the gun split close. Many of you know this formation. It's been one of the better formations in Madden for the past maybe 4, 5, 6 years. Some years better than others, but one of the great things about this formation is it's one of the few, maybe only, that I can think of off the top of my head, shotgun formation where you have the ability to attack multiple sides in the run game. Now, you have to use the Arizona playbook in order to get both of these runs, because this is the only playbook that has the fullback inside run. Now, if you're using a custom playbook, then it doesn't matter. You can just put all the plays in there anyway. But you have the power O that attacks the right, and then you have the inside zone, or the fullback inside, which essentially is like an inside zone that attacks up the middle, and you can also break it to the outside. So we're going to just focus on the runs really briefly before getting into the pass plays, because the runs are really what make this formation hard to defend, because you can attack either side, and they have to respect that every play on top of some of the good pass plays that we have. So when running the ball, you basically want to just count the numbers on the field. You want to see where you have the advantage. So you want to count pretty much everybody that's in the box on either side of the center. So if we look to the left side of the center, we see we have 3 guys. Well, I'll highlight them really quickly just to make this easier. So we have McCain, we have Toomer, and we have Perryman, right? On the right side, you see we have, I don't know how you say this guy's name, but we have 1, then we have Pullard, that's 2, Adai, 3, Emmanuel, 4. Now, yes, we do have an extra receiver over here that kind of helps out the blocking, but you still want to try to run to the side that's most favorable. So here, that would be the inside zone going either up the middle or to the left. You can also use motion from a wide receiver if you want to try to break it outside. We'll try that right here. If you see that the outside is favorable, you might want to do something like this and try to break it outside like so. Now, keep in mind I'm using Fleener here at the fullback position in split close. You can play with your depth chart and put another running back there if you want more speed. It's really all up to you. I just didn't go all out to do that. Now you see here we kind of have really even numbers on both sides. Technically the nose tackle here is a little bit to the side of the center, so really it's still a 1, 2, 3, 4 versus a 1, 2, 3, so we should still run the fullback inside here. Here I'm not going to motion, and that was just a ridiculous block shed, but I'm going to go to the replay here. That was a really bad block shed. I guarantee you the offensive lineman is better than that guy, but that's practice mode. Block shed happens really crazy in practice mode, but I want to show you, look at the gaping hole we had here. So Pete just got immediately just blown off at the line, but more times than not, your O-line should hold that block. And you see, look at Kamara. Look where he's going. He's lead blocking up to the safety there. We would have literally had a touchdown on this if Pete holds his block for longer than half a second. It was just a terrible block set, but like I said, that happens in practice mode. So see here again, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's pretty much even. We could kind of go either way here. I'll just run it to Kamara this time. Keep in mind the block shed might be, like, see what I'm saying? The block shed's really bad in practice mode. Nobody really holds their blocks, but in game you can expect them to hold their blocks. See here again, I'll try running the Kamara side here and try to break it to the outside. That's just really bad stick by me. That should have been a lot more yards, but you kind of get the gist of it. The fullback inside for sure is better than the power O, but this is just one of those things where it's hard to showcase runs in practice mode a lot because teams just block shed really crazy in practice mode, whereas in game, if you have a good offensive line, don't spam turbo. You never want to spam turbo. That's a big key when running the ball. You don't want to hit turbo until you're in the open field like so. You can really dominate with the run. So you either want to always come out in the fullback inside or you want it in your audibles. You want to always be able to access both run plays. So usually I would just come out in the fullback inside. I would probably set my audibles up like so. I would probably take out slot curl and I would put in wide receiver corner. We want to keep power O. We want to keep the halfback wheel, and we want to keep PAF slide. So I would pretty much just come out in fullback inside most plays, unless I'm rarely mixing it up, but I would come out in fullback inside most plays. So that's just the gist of the run game there. Next, we're going to get into the passing plays. So the first pass play we have to talk about, of course, is halfback wheel. It's been one of the most popular plays in the game for a while now. It's not as good as it's been in years past. This is probably the worst year for the halfback wheel play, and a lot of that has to do with like 91 zones and stuff like that, but it is still a very glitchy play if you use it right. So this is a play to me that is very hash mark dependent. We can attack differently depending on which hash we're on. So we'll start with the left hash. So this is a really good play to attack the flats with, and you'll notice that a lot of times, if you're on the left hash, you're going to be able to quick pass the wheel to Kamara. If you're on the right hash, you'll be able to quick pass the flat to Fleener. But I'm going to show you how this works. So when you hike the ball, and as far as setup, all I do is put B on a drag. That's just the main setup. That's it. But you'll notice if it's quick, if it's there to Kamara quick, you want to dump it off every time. Doesn't matter if it's 91 zone or not. If the quick pass is there to Kamara, you want to dump it down every time. You'll notice it pretty much right away, and you can see, like, you can get an easy, quick 10 yards with this, no matter if they have 91 zone or not. Now, if they're playing some type of underneath coverage, right, obviously the quick pass isn't going to be there. But what happens is when Kamara turns right up the field, you pass lead it to the sideline, you possession catch it, easy money. So that's like a really quick 1-2 punch with this. I want to put it on this hash right here because I want to show you versus Casey Hayward, who is 91 zone, that it's still going to work, especially against cover 2, because you would think, well, cover 2 is going to, 91 zone is definitely going to stop this. It's not. See, okay, well, that's just regular, like cover 4, cover 3, deep zone right there. But what I'm going to show you now is cover 2, because I know you're probably thinking, well, a 91 zone cloud flat definitely has to stop this. It won't, because what's going to happen is that cloud flat's going to kind of suck inside and worry about the deep post, and you're going to see what I'm talking about right here. And boom, you can still quick pass right to Kamara there. That was defended actually very well. We still got 4 yards off of it, but I'm going to show it because it's usually better than that. I might have actually thrown that a tad too early. That might have been my fault there, but watch. And yeah, I did. I threw it too early the other time. But you see, that time we got like 9 yards. And I'll do it one more time because I just want you guys to know that it is thorough. It's a cloud flat. It is Casey Hayward over here. He has 93 zone in the regular game, so he's well above the threshold. And you're gonna see that it doesn't matter. He's gonna drop back with that post, and we can. That was just a, what the heck was that? That was just a really bad throw and really bad timing again by me. This is something you really got to get your timing down with, or you will throw interceptions. So you're probably thinking, okay, this definitely isn't thorough, but just keep watching. I'll do it a few times just so you know that it is. Again, that was cover 2, wide open. I'm going to throw it one more time because I did mess up twice, and I don't want you guys to think I'm trying to pass some BS off on you guys. That's not what I'm here to do. It is something you need to practice. It is very, very timing based. You see, you might have to possession catch it. You see, you got to be careful because let me show you what happened here. This is why I threw a pick a couple plays before. Every once in a while, the post might get bumped. And when the post gets bumped, that's going to kind of delay the drop back of the cloud flat. So if the post gets bumped, you have to wait a little, like half second longer to throw it. And you see, that's what we did here. We made sure to get the possession catch. Still got about 7 yards. Casey Hayward wasn't close enough to make it happen. Going to run it one more time just because, like I said, I want you guys to understand that it's thorough, and then we're going to be moving on. So again, see, that was just a bad pass by Drew Brees, but you saw that he was open there. Self-explanatory. So we're going to go back over to this hash. So, you know you have the quick pass to Kamara, depending on if they play underneath, you can obviously throw the wheel once it cuts behind the underneath zone. But what else you can do, obviously, is if they're not using this post, you want to low pass this right when he cuts. You want to hold LB or L1, kind of like 5 o'clock on the left joystick and bullet pass it to them. Whether they play underneath or not, doesn't matter. That post is going to be there for you pretty much every time. They're going to have to use or defend it. You want to throw a low pass, they're not going to be able to jump it. So that's something they have to use or defend, but then you also have the quick flat that you can either quick pass it or you can wait till he gets behind the underneath coverage. You also have the drag route. If they don't respect the drag route, it comes across the field. You can pick up, your quick 4 to 6 yards either way on that. Solid way to keep the chains moving. Now, when you're on the right side of the field, this is what happens on the right side. So just how the cloud flat got sucked in the other way, same thing's going to happen here. I'm going to go, again, he is a 91 zone guy, and you're going to see. Boom. Easy to the outside. So you're doing kind of two things here. You want to throw it on his break point because the 91 zone is going to over pursue to the inside, but he's already over pursuing to the inside even more because that drag route's pulling him in. You see how he takes like a lot of steps to the inside here, and you see we throw it. Get a shot of Brees here. We throw it right as he's cutting, and you see Hayward's already on the inside, and he's kind of biting a little harder, and you can see he's a good 4 or 5 yards behind Fleener. We're able to turn it upfield. Broke a tackle, but we got about 7 yards before contact. That's why this play is so good, because you can just abuse them in the flats. Most people don't like, especially a lot of people that abuse cover 2, they don't like to play underneath coverage. Again, boom, get to the outside. There we got about 4. Threw it a little too early there. But even still, 4 yards against a 91 zone cloud flat is really good, because most people, as far as they're concerned, you can't even do that. Threw it too late there. Still got 3 yards, but we threw it too late. It's again, these flat passes are very important that you get your timing down, because even you're seeing me, I know how to run it, and I'm messing up the timing even a little bit. When you get the timing perfect, you get an easy 5-6 yards. So that's how you abuse that in the flats. Again, if they're like playing underneath, let's say, you always want to make sure you always have this post option over the middle. You want to make them respect the post. That's the most deadliest part of the play. You want to make them respect that post at all costs. Throw the drag. That was just a dumb animation. I hate these animations the game like pulls you into. It's so bad. Like, that should have been an easy 5 yards, but it pulled us into a dumb animation. And yeah, that time we don't get a dumb animation, we get 5 yards. So you have your checkdowns. Now, alternately, something else you can do with this play. See, I don't really like the corner route that Snead's on, because it's one of those bad corner routes that cuts at a dumb angle. You could put him on a smart route at out route instead. So like, let's say they're playing underneath cover 4, for instance. It's like, alright, they're on your flat route. Boom, you can hit this. And that was another bad pass by Brees. I was trying to low pass it there, but I guess I accidentally high passed it. Or the low pass didn't trigger, because the low pass is obviously safer here. You can see low ball it, boom. You're getting down in front of the 91 zone defender. We'll do it one more time. So if they're like not playing cover 2, if they're playing some type of underneath cover 4, cover 3, which a lot of people like to do, you could just boom, easily hit this low pass here to Snead. Casey Hayward can't defend it. So that's another wrinkle you can add into the play. I like the deep out route better than I like the corner route. Now, if they're playing like a cover 4 and they're putting cloud flats on the field maybe, then of course you can go back to your flat route. Boom, easy money, get upfield. That was a bad animation. The animations in this game are just flat out terrible, because that should have been like 7 yards, but we got like 4.5 because the animation was bad. But we'll run it again. If the flat's wide open, you take it and you go upfield. Again, we're getting terrible animations, but we're still picking up 4 yards. We should be picking up more, but because the animations in this game are god awful, But again, quick pass is open. You can see the potential you have, especially if you have a big body out there. You're going to break that first tackle a lot of times. You could pick up those 8 to 10 yards. So that's how you want to use halfback wheel. You want to abuse the flats, but don't forget to low pass the post. And also, a deep out route is going to get underneath your cover 3s and cover 4s if they're trying to play underneath to take away your flat route. So that's halfback wheel, one of the most important plays to go along with the runs in split close. Okay, so the next play we want to look at is the PAF slide, which is probably the consensus second best play out of this formation, and has been for some years. Now, there's a few ways we can set this up. This is a very versatile play, and what's good is it plays off of the halfback power O with the fake to the running back on the left. So we can just kind of almost run it stock. This is one simple way to run it, although I would streak Michael Thomas here, the X-wide receiver. So what we have here is we have, again, another post that has to pretty much be user guarded. We can low ball it or regular throw it depending on the defense. And it's on the opposite side of the field as the halfback wheel, so it gives a different, kind of a different look. People are used to having to worry about the post on the left. Now you have a post on the right you have to worry about. What else happens here is we have a high-low with the RB tight end going to the flat, and the B wide receiver who is attacking a little bit more up the sideline, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So for instance, we'll play a cover 4 underneath coverage, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we see that RB is defended, so we just pass lead B up, and you see just clear field all day. He picks up, a solid 15 to 20 yards. We'll show it one more time. In fact, we'll go to cover 3, do the same thing underneath coverage. We're streaking X, so he's bringing the vertical route deep with him. You can see we're just reading it. Okay, RB's covered. Sure thing. We just pass lead B up, and you can see, I mean, you have daylight to run. Now, we're going to do a cloud flat cover 4 here. So, show the other side of this. So, it's just a simple read. You can see, okay, RB's open. Well, we're just going to hit RB to the flat, pick up our easy 5 yards. He kind of got held up there. He should have had a cleaner release, but he didn't. Probably could have got a little bit more yards there, but even still, he got held up, and we still got it good. See, that time, he got a free release. Boom. You can see the difference. You get good yardage in the flats there. So that's a simple high-low read that we can work there. Now, again, if the post route is there, you can always take that too. Make them worry about this post. You see here, boom. There's no one even close to the post route there. We still low ball it just because the low ball is glitchy this year, but still, take the post if it's there every single time. Obviously, you want to look to the flat first because that's the easy read, but if the post is there, again, low ball it, possession catch it. Very, very simple read there. Now we'll look at a cover 2 and even drop the middle linebacker deep. Now the thing here is because we have a streak on the field, the middle linebacker should run with the streak, and you see that he does, and you just see how open Sneed gets here. I'll go to the replay briefly. That, you know, I've talked about that a few times on my channel, but I'll mention it again here. If you're having trouble beating cover 2 with the middle linebacker in the deep blue, yes, he will usually guard post, but if you put a streak on the field, you know, somewhat in the middle of the field, he's going to always run with the streak. You see how he's running downfield with Michael Thomas? Watch as he turns. He's turning right here, and he's running with Michael Thomas, and then Sneed is just wide open underneath. No one's even close to him. So that's an easy way to beat cover 2 as well. So that's one way we can set this up. Another thing we can do is instead we can streak B, which gives us the same concept for cover 2. He'll run with cover 2 and leave that wide open. But now our high-low read is Michael Thomas and Coby Fleener instead of Ginn being the high read. You can see now Michael Thomas is the low or the high read. We can low ball him or we could throw it regular just depending on what it calls for. We'll show that again. So here we're just streaking B. It's just a different, just pretty much same concept, different way of running it. You see here, low balled it. He's now the high read on the out route, but it's a little bit, it's a different depth of the field. It's a different receiver. It's just kind of a way to keep them guessing. Here, again, I'll show you cover 2 to show that we're going to have the same effect here. Now he's going to run with Ted Ginn, as you're going to see down the field. You see he bails out with Ted Ginn, boom, Sneed's wide open. So that's another way we can run the play. Now, one last thing we can do is we can put Ginn on a smart routed out route. So now what we're doing is we're creating a high-low on both sides of the field. You can see we have 2 flat routes, 2 deep out routes. Still have the post on the field. You have to be a little bit more careful with the post because now we don't have any vertical routes taking it deep, taking any deep zones away. So it might be harder to fit the pass in, but it's still an option. It's still there, if nothing more than to force the user to go user guard it. But by creating a high-low on both outsides of the field, it makes it really hard for an opponent to stop us. So here we'll show underneath coverage. We've already, you know, shown the other side of the field enough, so we'll hit this side of the field. And again, Hayward is 91 zone. You can see he couldn't get down there to stop it. So here we'll run a cloud flat coverage. And you can see you have the ability, dump it down to Kamara, get some easy yards in the flats, go up the field. So that's another way you can run this. Again, you still have the post, but you have a high-low on both sides of the field. Just something extra that they have to worry about. And again, you're mixing this in with halfback wheel and the runs that we've shown. Now we're going to get into some more plays. Okay, now we want to look at wide receiver corner, which is a really glitchy play. If you follow me on YouTube, which I'm sure pretty much all of you do, or else you wouldn't be here. You saw recently I did a video, you know, how glitchy the C routes can be and how you can glitch out coverages with them. And this is another one of those same type of C routes. It's very short, very sharp cutting. But there's some different things we can do with this play. So one thing we can do if you're, this again is another play, if you're like on the hash mark, you want the C route to be on the short side of the field. Because what you can do here is we can block Y. I like to re-streak A because that little like inverted streak he's on sometimes kind of can get in the way of the C route. You could leave the post if you want. I don't like this post. This post just runs a little bit too deep. like the cut that it takes, it makes it very hard to low ball it. You can low ball it, but it's just a little bit more riskier than the other posts. So a lot of times I'll do, like, I'll put him on an in route, or I'll put him on a hitch that we can playmaker. You know, it's kind of just up to you. But I want to show that you kind of have the same thing with the flat route here. You can get the flat route open really quickly with this play and pick up your easy 4 to 6 yards, even against a cover 2. Because, again, watch what happens, and that is, again, Casey Hayward over there. But just like he kind of came to the inside with the drag route on halfback wheel or the post route, he's going to do the same thing with the C route. You're going to see he's going to come way inside, and we can get to the outside of him there. Usually we're going to get more yards than that. We'll run it again. But the weird thing with this game is it's a very animation, you know, driven game. And you see there, easy 6 yards that time. We'll run it one more time. But sometimes when you throw quick passes to the flat, every once in a while, you're going to get really crappy animations, and it's unfortunate. But more times than not, you should be fine. You can see there, that was kind of a crappy animation, but still got 4 yards. So same thing with halfback wheel. If you have the C route on the short side of the field, you can just quickly take advantage of that flat route. Now let's show some other things. So if you're playing somebody that just likes to spam cover 2, right, you can glitch the coverage out just like I showed you in my recent video. So like here, we can just block both of the people in the backfield. We can restreak A, and then we can put X on an in or a drag or whatever have you, and we'll go to cover 2 here, and you can see that you can do the same thing. We can motion this C route out since we're in the middle of the field, and we can just break point past him. And I threw it way too early there, so we're going to do it again. But you can break point past him and just completely glitch out the 91 zone. So again, here's cover 2. When you're not on the short side of the field, you're going to want to motion him out because you want to get him more outside where the cornerback is. And you can see, break point past it. Casey Hayward's going to always get sucked to the inside. We'll run it one more time. Cover 2 once again. Motion him out. And all you want to do is just break point past it. And you see Casey Hayward's going to get sucked to the inside. If you time it right, you're going to get huge yards like that. The time before, I timed it a little too early. Still got a good completion, but if you time it right, we'll go to the replay just to show you. I've shown you guys this a lot on the channel, but just to be thorough, you're going to see, just watch Casey Hayward. He just goes super hard to the inside, and, I mean, Ted Ginn's got all day to run. So that's something you can do against people that just spam cover 2. But if they're running, like, you know, your cover 4s or whatnot, and they're playing underneath coverage, then you're going to want to leave the flat route. If, you know, you just have to kind of play it by ear. If someone's just spamming cover 2, then you can just glitch out their cloud flat all day. But if they're mixing their coverages up, then you're going to want to keep the flat route there. Same thing, if we're not on the short side of the field, we're going to want to motion them out. And then you see, just boom, it's just easy, low pass it, wide open. If they play any type of underneath coverage, he's wide open. We'll go to cover 3 now and do the same thing. If they play any type of underneath coverage, he is going to be wide open because the 91 zones are not going to get down there in time. And actually, that time I forgot to put the flat route on the field, and he was still open. I accidentally blocked the backfield that time, and he was still open. Like, watch. Both of the guys in the backfield are blocking. It's underneath coverage. So he's kind of peeling back because there is no underneath route, and we still were able to get him wide open in between both guys. But we're going to go back to cover 3 and actually leave the flat route there. Because most time people run cover 3, cover 4, they are going to play underneath coverage. Leave the flat route. Again, you're going to motion this C route out. They're going to bite down on the flat route. Boom. You can low ball. You don't even always have to low ball it. It's just a habit of me low balling it because it's such an effective tactic right now. And you can see it's wide open. There's just nothing they can do about it. Now, of course, if they're playing cloud flat coverage and they're not, you know, they don't want to give up the C route, that's when you have your checkdowns. You can easily hit your flat, get your 5 to 6, maybe 7 yards. If you have a big guy out there like Fleener, you can run people over. This is where your check down comes in, where Michael Thomas is at, in route, drag route, whatever you want to put him on. If you see that it's there, you can take it, obviously. See, I mean, easy 8 yards there, nothing too crazy. So those are the ways to really take advantage of this play. You can leave the post route there, here and there if you want, if you just want to kind of like try to catch him off guard and make him think that you may be in halfback wheel, but you're really running a different play. Typically, though, I like to have him on some type of check down option. I just think that's best. But that's how I like to run wide receiver corner. You can glitch out pretty much any coverage with low balling the C route. It's just an effective tactic this year. But you can also glitch out the flats if you are on the short side of the field as well. So take that into account. And that's it for this play. I'm going to show you guys one more play, and then we were going to wrap up the split close scheme. Okay, so the last play I want to touch on is the play double ends, and this is kind of a little bit more of a specialty play. The thing that's really unique about it is the route that Snead is on is a speed in route, but if you motion it to the outside, it becomes a speed out, and many of you may remember that speed out routes were really, really popular until they, took them out of the game. They were really hard to defend, and this is essentially a speed out if you motion it to the outside of the field. And it's a very good mix and play. You want to motion him out to about the numbers. When he cuts to the sideline, you just bullet it, and of course you want a possession catch it to make sure you stay in bounds. It's a gimmicky type play, but if any of you have played Madden for the past few years, and if you're familiar with the speed outs, you know just how hard they were to stop, and that's why they took them out of the game. But you essentially have that same route if you motion this over. Now, as far as setting this up, what I like to do is I'm going to put the Y running back on like a swing just to give me an underneath route just in case. Even if they play back with like cloud flats, a lot of times you can still beat them to the sideline with the speed out. But it's just nice to have a route coming underneath it just to be safe, really. Usually I'll block RB. Then you can do something like you could put B on an in route, and then of course you have your deep post, which is the same deep post from halfback wheel. You have that on the play too if need be. If they're not respecting it, you can low ball it. But this is really just to focus on the speed out. You want to really take advantage of this and just, again, give them something else to worry about. They already have to worry about runs on both sides of the field. They have to worry about glitchy flat passes. They have to worry about deep posts. Give them something else to worry about. That's the name of the game. Make them have to set up their defense to stop 6 different things instead of just 1 or 2 different things. So here we'll show cover 2. And the great thing about this is if they don't have 91 zone, you can easily just beat them. If they do have 91 zone, you can break point pass it, which you're doing anyway. And you see there, no 91 zone, they don't react to it. But now I'm going to flip it and I'm going to run it to the other side of the field. The great thing is you're breakpoint passing the route anyway. That's how you have to throw it in order for it to be successful. So if they have 91 zone, you're still just going to glitch out the 91 zone anyway. That's what makes it great. You don't even have to change up how you're throwing the ball. So again, you see, breakpoint pass it. Hayward has no shot. He's not going to be too far off. He'll be close, but he's not going to have a shot to really defend it. You'll see here. We throw it right on the break, and you see Hayward is just a little bit behind. And that's all you need. That's all you need to complete this pass. And usually, I'm going to run it again because usually a lot of times what happens is he'll actually like even run up the field, like away from the route. It's kind of funny. It might not happen every single time, but I want to see if I can trigger it for you because it does happen quite often when you break point past this against a cover 2. And you see there, he didn't really quite run all the way upfield, but he backpedaled a little bit further away from the route. So we'll go to the replay again. This is a guy that has 93 zone, and he can't defend it. We're throwing it right on the break. You see, he's just a couple yards behind, but that's all you need to make this work. Now, for whatever reason, if, let's just say, here we'll run cloud flats. So you can usually still complete this versus cloud flats, but you want to have the underneath route just in case maybe you're not feeling it. So you see there, the cloud flat doesn't get out there. He can't get out there to defend it. But on this next play, I'm going to run the same thing, cover 4 with cloud flats, just to show you that for whatever reason, maybe if you hesitate or you're not sure if he's going to be able to defend it or not, some people have that trouble making the read. That's when you just dump it down to the flat and boom, or the swing route. You might pick up 4 yards, but that's just kind of like a safe haven for you underneath. If for whatever reason you do hesitate on the speed out, you still have something that you can go to. Just in case you're not safe or you just hesitate, like I said, you still have something to go to. Again, if they don't respect the deep post, low ball it, possession catch it. It's going to be hard to pick off. Just be careful, work on your timing. But that's basically it for the split close scheme, guys. Very, very tough scheme if you know how to run it. I recommend running it out of the Cardinals playbook because it is the only playbook that has the halfback or the fullback inside, which is definitely very key to making this formation go. Without the fullback inside, it's still a really good formation, but it's just not on that next level. It's not that fullback inside. It really has to be respected, and it's one of the best shotgun runs in the game. So I would definitely advise making sure you use either a custom playbook or you use the Cardinals playbook so that you have fullback inside. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the scheme, and as always, I will see you guys on the next one.